standard Kalista taken away as well. Acorn's Maokai removed from the map. And, you know, this is actually something you and I were talking about a little beforehand. How exactly do you ban out EDG?
Well, you don't, that's the thing. So you ban champions that you find are just overwhelmingly strong, because you look at every individual member again, there is no champion that they prefer. They might be playing them most recently, but they've got such diverse champion pools that it doesn't matter. Whereas you look at EDG's bans now, targeted on Imp, targeted on Acorn, and that Rek'Sai ban, he has played 8 champions in playoffs here, TBQ. 7 of them are Rek'Sai.
Yeah. Very, very solid ban for TBQ. He still has his Echo available, but banning Gragas away from Clearlove leaves EDG to first pick. Pawn's Lulu gets through.
Yeah, so they pick Pawn's Lulu, but most importantly, they take away the Lulu from GODV. This plays into denying a lot of that Juggernaut style comp, which LGD are having that preference towards Imp. Shows a lot of success playing Kog'Maw lately. In fact, he's been forcing bans. Look to the Vici games that they played. Lulu and Kog'Maw were the most common bans with Ryze.
Yeah. We'll see if that Ryze is going to be locked in for LGD as they get into their first 2 picks of this set. And this is actually the first time Edward Gaming have played in 7 days. They've had 7 full days to practice, prepare, and hone their strategies. LGD has had to run through the gauntlet. They've had to beat out Snake and Vici Gaming to make it this far. So we might see a bit of a difference between these two, as they aren't quite as fresh as you would hope LGD to be, but Kog'Maw is locked in.
Yeah, they picked their Kog'Maw. They finished that one off with the Ryze again. Very strong first rotation from LGD. Very smart from EDG to take the Lulu away, because it denies that 2-threat protect whoever you would like style of team comp. But LGD now picking up that Ryze. They've got a hyper-scaling top lane or a hyper-scaling AD carry. All they're really looking for now is the rest of the team comp to cement that strength. They can go for some tanks for a jungle champion, but they don't really have many options. Raises some questions for TBQ's champ pool.
Yeah, it certainly does. You know, he has broken out his Echo lately, and he's played that exceptionally well. Not to mention the fact that he is a Legacy Elise player, and this is 5.14, the advent of the new Elise.
Yeah, and the one other champion he has played besides Rek'Sai in the playoffs is that one game as a Elise. So he can always default back to that Lee Sin, the early aggression style of play, but it also puts in a very predictable manner of style that Clearlove can potentially play towards. And this is what we were talking about, and the way that the teams want to play it out is EDG most likely want to utilize Clearlove and pick on TBQ.
Yeah, we'll see if he's going to end up committing to that Lee Sin. It looks like he is. Alistar and Lee Sin are locked in now for LGD.
Yeah, so we were saying they maybe want to tank in the jungle, but they've supplemented that by having the Alistar in the support role. So that hyper tank that doesn't need items to be tanky can just press that R key and will never die. He's going to be very useful. You would assume TBQ are going to go the Cinderhulk route, but again, this gives Clearlove a counter pick, which is something that is going to be big for them. Not only that, they still have the options available to round out their team comp. But what they've got so far, we didn't quite touch on. They've gone for the Annie and the Jinx. That bot lane already set in stone. And if I was LGD, and they're a side that love to lane swap, I wouldn't always advise it against the Jinx and an Annie.
Yeah, we've clearly seen LGD perform, or EDG, excuse me, perform on that Jinx and Annie lane beforehand. Deft has one of the highest win percentages. Whoa, Yasuo locked in for Pawn and Evelyn for Clearlove.
Straight away, so they did flex the Lulu pick. They put that one in the top lane, and they've gone for the Yasuo, who this team comp from EDG is not directly tanky, but they are indirectly tanky through their champion spells. They've got the Lulu to use the wild growth, make sure people are bigger than they were. I really want POL to lock this one in for GODV. That would be fantastic, but we'll wait and see what happens. More likely, EDG's team comp is almost like assassination. Their engage is weak. In fact, it's going to come down entirely to Meiko, this team comp.
Yeah, we'll see how EDG play it out. They look relatively squishy, but currently GODV hovering the Diana, which he played yesterday and earned an MVP performance on, a Legacy Diana player, and he does lock it in. It's Diana versus Yasuo in the mid lane.
Assassin-heavy style of mid lane play now from both of these guys. A lot of fighting will happen between Pawn and GODV. Couldn't ask for a better lane to have a lot of fighting between, though, that is for certain. As we have both team comps now completely set in stone, Lulu seemingly a favorable pick into the Ryze. does okay, keeps him down. But if Ryze ever gets going in the slightest amount, it's not possible for Lulu to do a thing.
Yeah, and this Lulu in the top lane is unexpected. We've seen Pawn play Lulu, I believe last week actually, to great effect, earning an MVP-worthy performance and almost single-handedly buying his team enough time to respawn and then win the game. So it is kind of surprising to see Koro take that, but Pawn, he will get the last say with this lineup. And with these two lineups on our teams, our coaches shake hands and we prepare to get onto the Rift. Running through, it's Koro in the top lane, taking on Acorn.
And Koro also providing the only extra knockup for the Yasuo, also worth noting, is that top lane not going to be very interactive. When we move towards the jungle, aggression.
Yeah, very mobile on the Evelyn and Lee Sin. Here is Pawn and GODV. The old rivalry commences once again. The two best AD carries in the world, according to each other.
Yeah.
It's Deft and Imp, and to round it all out, our supports, Meiko and PYL.
And of course, dangerous bot lane here from EDG. They've got Jinx and Annie in fairly matched range between the two, the Kog'Maw and the Jinx. Gonna sit back at reasonably the same distances. The key difference is that Annie can be a really big pest. Yeah. Alistar has to all in to do anything.
And we'll see how that works out, because how would a lane swap work in this scenario?
And so they're always going to look for a lane swap here for LGD. We'll see if they do, though.
Yeah, we'll certainly have to find out as we get into game. Welcome back to the LPL semifinals, everyone. It is Edward Gaming versus LGD. Game number 1 is commencing right now with these two teams on your screen. And Rusty, I believe you were just talking about potential lane swaps.
We certainly were. And LGD, they're a side that preference those lane swaps, could play well into their hands, because we were talking about how Edward Gaming may want to play this game out, and that is to pick on TBQ. So the contrast then from LGD should be to lane swap, hide the jungler, put him in a lane where he can be in a 4v0, 1v3 scenario, and just be a pest and still have a presence around the map without directly having to 1v1 Clearlove, who will most likely be in his face.
Yeah, we've seen how aggressive Clearlove loves to be, and we'll have to keep an eye on his progress. GODV and Pawn having a bit of a stare down. I feel like this is actually pretty classic of the Yasuo Diana style. Yasuo's trying to look you in the eyes, and Diana's just looking off into the distance.
Well, somewhat. Yeah. I think the key word is they're here to give vision. They haven't actually placed wards down in their respective lane, which is standard of people at the start of the game. So they're saving that, or they've placed it deeper in different areas. And LGD, they're doing what we expected.
Yeah, you can already see Imp and PYL on that top side of the map. The 5-point defense from just about everyone isn't going to be spotting anyone out. So we'll have to see how Koro manages to survive, or how Acorn does indeed, and if that does unlock Meiko to go for some rounds.
Yeah, so EDG seemingly invading as 2 right now, looking to spot people out doing the jungle. They're not going to find anything, but they know that it's not a blue side start. They're about to see the Kog'Maw as well, so they're fully aware. And this is where Meiko knows already that he's unlocked to do as he would like, and immediately starts placing down vision and wards and just walking around.
Getting some great vision into LGD's jungle just to make sure he's got an eye on it. PYL on the other side of the map looks for something similar. He's going to find Koro. Doesn't quite see Clearlove. But here's Acorn and TBQ looking for some action.
Well, they've actually found a very good eye, and they're not going to get him yet.
Yeah, Sonic Wave goes wide. Meiko and Clearlove were actually waiting in the wings for a backup. Already you can see how cerebral these two teams, as they're both prepared for the early game.
And that was such a small thing, but the way that EDG played that was actually one step ahead of the LGD side. They were going to go in if that Sonic Wave connected, and they saw Lulu. PYL actually spotted the Lulu, and they said, okay, Clearlove's nearby this area. He's just invisible, right? That's just standard. He was already at the other side of the map with Meiko, looking for that counter gank, so they were one step ahead.
Very solid communication, though. It looks like LGD might be trying to find that first blood with a dive onto Koro, as TBQ and Acorn could set up for this. Yeah, TBQ is going to catch the minion wave. Sonic Wave lands onto Kuro. He's just trying to bully him away.
He has no E, so he can't do anything. Oh, they're putting some nice damage.
Getting the snare down as well. Flash is burned, and Kuro gets out with his life.
Yeah, he was always going to get out with his life. The question was, how much health was he going to have remaining? Forcing the flash, really big, and you have to question what Kuro was thinking to be there when they were missing on the top side of the map after they just showed presence mid about 30 seconds earlier.
Not quite able to find the kill, but this does buy Imp and PYL lots of time with that turret, especially with that wave nice and staggered. Not quite able to bring it low just yet as Meiko and Deft look to answer on the opposite side of the map. And GODV recalls for another Dorans just to be safe.
He's a very uniquely strong laner, but really struggling here against Pawn as he's been pushing him down. Yasuo, of course, having that level 2 advantage, actually playing heavily into his hands here. GODV not having the answer, but of course, just using that teleport to get back. Things are still very close in that middle lane.
Yeah, see how that works out as Pawn with a recall goes for a nice and greedy Avarice Blade in this game, number 1. The first turret did go down in the bottom lane. Deft and Meiko were able to secure that, and they're currently headed top with Clearlove. Imp might run out of time trying to take this top tier 1.
Yeah, so the interesting part is how Lulu possesses so much wave clear that it's really difficult for them to maintain strength around getting the turret. So Koro actually being here, the bot lane of EDG missing, is a sign for LGD to preemptively back off. But the key difference, Deft is not looking to last hit as much as Imp is. He's looking to take down those turrets and give that global gold to the rest of his team. And this is all another way to get Clearlove further ahead so that he can be annoying in the jungle.
Yeah, the name of the game for EDG has been Clearlove in the past, but we're not seeing any crazy ganks just yet as he's focused on continuing to farm it up and play it safe. Recall from Imp, sends it back.
Wind wall's about 90 degrees off there, but...
Well, it was a crescent slash. He thought it was coming from the other side.
It only comes from one side. That's the real question here. Is out mind gaming himself. Once GODV gets level 6, this lane becomes a lot better for the Diana. Although Yasuo is still doing perfectly fine, Diana's still farming perfectly fine between the two of them. The kill pressure exponentially increases when you have your ultimates available here. So you'll look to the junglers who are busy dealing with lane swaps at the moment, having to rotate around the map and impact them. Once all settles down, and we are in standard lanes now, the junglers are now unlocked.
Keep an eye on them for those ganks.
There's about a minion of 6.
Yeah, there he is. Managed to secure it. We saw TBQ looking for a gank earlier, but didn't quite commit to it. I think the big difference that we're seeing currently is that Acorn hasn't had any time to catch any CS. He's still level 3, a full level behind Koro, and Koro's had a freeze set up in that bottom lane. Makes for a scary situation.
It certainly does. I mean, the fact that he had to use his flash earlier but couldn't be addressed again as an important point to gank for the side of LGD plays badly into their hands. But in saying that, Ryze, we saw this yesterday from Dandy. He was very behind, did not have enough farm, but still outscaled the Lulu by an unbelievably high amount. So we'll see if he can actually get some farm now that it's back to standard lanes. Of course, the tower was missing for EDG, so he can potentially freeze that on the bottom lane. Depends on how EDG play this one out.
Yeah, we can already see Clearlove's on that side of the map as Meiko and PYL play tag with each other in the jungle. But they're not quite going to look for any more aggression outside of that. GODV actually is going to be clearing out the Raptor camp. So much priority being put on that mid laner right now.
Yeah.
And even Imp and PYL are clearing away the Krugs. TBQ is getting a jungle
destroyed. Yeah. There's no jungle remaining here for TBQ. But in saying that, GODV has pretty much kept Pawn under his turret this entire laning phase since level 5 and the first backs came out. So a lot of pressure here from GODV, and this is why he can freely go to those Raptors, because he does not miss a single creep in order to get those. And he'll start to form a small gold lead just from farming these minions. And not only that, he's keeping Pawn down. Pawn can't roam.
Very important distinction. Interestingly enough, Pawn also has exhaust, so he is a bit afraid of that all-in potential from GODV. We'll see how that works out, as that does free up Meiko to take Ignite in the bottom lane, but we haven't really seen too much aggression this early on, as everyone's content to start off with a nice, patient game, farming it up.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned that Pawn has exhaust. GODV actually has the teleport as well, so this, again, is another factor as to why it's really good in this middle lane for LGD, is that he doesn't necessarily need to go to another lane via being spotted by wards, potentially. He can teleport, or he can just farm the jungle, but they don't know where he is either way, so it's very scary and could play onto the minds of Edward Gaming, and we'll see how they continue to react, as he's very rarely in his lane right now.
Yeah. And speaking of farming the jungle, actually, Clearlove, he's been getting quite a lot of time in his own side of the jungle. Luckily, he doesn't have any members of EDG poaching, and he has completed a warrior enchant nice and early.
Yeah, going for the AD style of Evelyn. A lot of people preferring the Runeglaive. Remember, we are on 514, and it gives you extra ability power now. So, interesting decision that he's opted towards that. Both strong, of course. It's just a matter of preference, you would assume. Everyone is making the assumption that Runeglaive's better. I would say they're perfectly even. It's just preference.
Acorn did get some time to shove in the bottom lane, despite not having vision of Clearlove. He was able to play it safe with the nice patient freeze and just about catch up in CS, though Koro manages to catch the wave and bring himself back to a nice, healthy advantage. Imp trading up with Deft in this top lane. He's still looking for that tier 1, but just can't quite find it.
Yeah, and since the lane swap was put into effect, Imp has managed to maintain a decent CS lead that is probably going to be completely minimized right now to nothing. As now he's still done quite alright. There was a couple missed there by Deft.
How about one wave? It's okay, we didn't see it.
We didn't see it. But in saying that, of course, a small CS advantage. They lost the turret in that bottom lane, though. So when it comes to respective gold differences, you're still looking at EDG with that lead.
Yeah. And a lot of that is off of Clearlove and that first turret that they took. Acorn now even taking away the Direwolf camp from TBQ. LGD are playing all about their laners right now, and poor TBQ, he's just being starved for gold by his own team.
Well, thankfully he's going to be going for the Cinderhulk route, so he's just going to be looking to be a tank. If he was going warrior like Clearlove, he definitely would be taking a lot more farm for himself. In saying that, he's still going to be behind in terms of a 1v1 scenario because there is so much money going to Clearlove. And this play style from EDG is different. It's adaptive, basically.
Meiko is going to face check into a lot of members.
Wow.
It's 3 versus 3 right now. Teleport makes Koro join the fight. They managed to secure first blood. TBQ is dropped, and GODV flashes away.
Yeah, TBQ going down. Numbers advantage for EDG. 100% there is. I almost thought Yasuo was on LGD's side. That is how they played that fight. Looking for the knockups, not finding the kills. As now they got the flank here on the Imp.
Yeah, they're looking for Imp. He's got both of his summoner spells, but locked down. He's going to take a lot of damage. Tries to trade it back and dies for his card.
And he goes down. Just a very smart rotation here, but predictable in terms of where they were going to go. Imp greedy to try and get some farm, potentially looking to wave clear so they couldn't get the turret down. You can see PYL trying to save it. It is going to live, but in saying that, they make nice two nice picks here, EDG.
Yeah. Deft continuing to shove forward with a pickaxe and some attack speed. Looks to break down that top turret. It's now going to be 2 turrets to 0 in favor of Edward Gaming, and with those 2 kills, one of which being first blood, they're up 3,000 gold 12 minutes in.
And the difference between these two right now is just the little things. So, for an example, that Lulu just got the solo tower gold from that second tower going down, and this is great for Lulu because the CS may be even, but now a kill and that extra gold gives him the Morellos compared to just a tier from Acorn at this stage. Lulu's now finding strength, should be able to 1v1 the Ryze depending on what he gets now. And every individual member from EDG starting to ramp up.
We're starting to see some spikes being hit by EDG as they were the first team to make an aggressive play in this game. We'll see if LGD can answer back with a few of their own. And actually, what do we expect from LGD with this team? You know, they've got the Assassin Diana, they've got the late game Ryze, and then they've got Imp's Kog'Maw.
Yeah, so they're looking to get late game. You basically said it yourself just there, is their scaling is massive. The big question mark always going to be a Lee Sin, but Lee Sin late game, it's just one kick that matters, you know? So it doesn't matter how late the game goes, as long as it does go late, LGD are in a very happy position for the rest of this game.
Looks like LGD are content to trade over their own first tower of the game to try to minimize that gold difference. They're going to cede that first dragon over to EDG. They're actually pinging onto Acorn right now. could be a bit of trouble as Clearlove looks to go deep, but he's just going to try finding some wards.
Stalking around, placing some wards down himself as he has that side stone, so just giving vision for his team. The Nasha's Tooth completed for GODV as well, massive in this matchup, and that's actually Alacrity Boots Mercury Treads Yasuo from Pawn. He has one thing in mind, and that is not to die to this Diana, and he's going to catch people, that is for certain.
Yeah, we'll see if Pawn can put out enough damage to murder some folks, or if it's going to be GODV who manages to pull out the outplays once again like yesterday, as everyone still seems to be warming up nice and patiently. Acorn once again is going to get some solo CS. Looks like he is now going for a Catalyst as he's going for the slow ramping build. They're actually looking to see if they can catch Koro.
Yeah, looking threatening right now.
Ooh, they're going to find him. Lots of damage coming across. Knockup stalls out TBQ. They flash forward and get the kill.
And there was no turret there, but TBQ getting the kill. Probably could have given that one to Acorn, to say the least. EDG were mid lane, so a very easy pick for them to take as GODV has wave clearing on lock. There was no threat of that tower going down, but it is the next plan of attack here, so a lot of focus from Edward Gaming will now be on this middle lane, but a very good pick onto Koro gives Acorn the lane that he's looking for right now. Scaling up towards that Rod of Ages, and the rest of the team, Trinity Force, Nasha's Tooth,
yeah,
they're pretty much ready to fight besides their top laner.
Scary thing is, Dragon was already taken. What is left on the map for them to fight over?
Bottom turret, mid turret, I guess. The outers, the only things remaining.
Yeah.
Easy standing gold for them, so not necessarily even needing to fight over them. If they just play the typical LGD-esque style, and that is just rotate and actually get them for free.
Yeah, that's actually what we see right now is GODV, PYL, and even TBQ show themselves in the mid lane to interrupt the recall of Deft and Meiko.
So this is something that is really interesting from EDG right now, is they've got Yasuo sitting in that bottom lane. We don't know how long he's going to stay there for, but I would imagine based off this itemization, which is really unique, he'll be there until he gets the Phage at the very least, and potentially the entire Trinity Force. He's just going to split push. This counters what LGD are trying to do, and it's just rotate around the map. And the reason that he may be doing so, Mercury Treads rushed against a double AP composition, Kog'Maw dealing a lot of magic damage also. So a pretty much triple AP comp early game. And then he's gone Alacrity. And that gives him move speed, it gives him stickiness and chase. And in a side lane, when you've got minion waves to manipulate, it's very easy for you to chase people down because they are the long way.
Pawn actually finds himself in the mid lane along with Deft and Meiko. They're going to find some damage onto the mid tier 1, but it is answered back by GODV, and even Acorn showing himself as his wave is pushed a little bit too far to feel safe on the top side of the map. And now we've got LGD grouped as 5 in the mid lane.
Yeah, they're grouping up and looking to brute force this turret. They should be able to put some nice damage onto it. They've got a lot of zone between all of their members. That's cute.
Some great damage across. The flash stun finds Imp. Looks like this could be the fight we're looking for. Double snare finds GODV. He's going to be tackling into the fight. Dashes in for tons of damage. Tries to dive on a Deft. He secures it, but he's stunned under the turret. He will go down. It's going to be Deft traded for GODV, but Imp and Pawn are still alive. Could they make the play? They dash. Pawn out of the fight. The snare locks him away. He gets destroyed. Clearlove flashes in. He's able to drop Imp in time, but TBQ just can't quite chase through the minions, but he gets the shutdown regardless. Flash is going to find Koro. He chases it to get another kill. PYL dives it up once again. Pawn is still alive. He gets the outplay. Pawn with the plays.
Pawn goes massive right there for his team. He had no right being alive, but PYL headbutts him to safety when he dashed in a position where he should not be there. He manages to get an outplay, gets the turret. EDG.
Teleport from GODV. He comes in from the other side, but Pawn's already gone.
And again, they should not have done that well. Pawn gets an outplay. Clearlove, he manages to get kills because PYL doesn't have a headbutt. And we're going to see this again. Meiko is actually the one engaging. Pay attention to Pawn's ultimate because he was going for GODV, but misses it and hits just Alistar because GODV dashes under the turret. Now, GODV does kill himself, but Pawn continues this trend through. He dashes in on a minion now, and he's about to die. Gets headbutted to safety, and then Clearlove just jumps in with that flash, looking to get people down. He will go down to the Kog'Maw, and this is where things start to look really bad for EDG. The Sonic Wave connects. Pawn places down that wind wall. Gets PY under the turret. Acorn cannot do a thing. Just kiting around that wall. Stops the Q from Lee Sin and takes out Ryze with that tornado. So well done from Pawn.
Yeah, that just speaks to how explosive these games are going to be. That was 9 people dead 16 minutes into the game. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. This dragon is going to be coming up in 30 seconds as we're also approaching the 20-minute mark. EDG did take the first one. We'll see if LGD can fight for number 2.
And you know, the worst part now is Pawn is so far ahead that he's almost at that Trinity Force. Got 2 out of the 3 components from just that last fight. And now if he ever split pushes, no one can deal with him. But they need him with the fight because he's just so strong.
Yeah, Dragon has just spawned, and EDG are already grouped as 5 in the pit. They're going to take it down, and LGD don't even put up any sort of contest. They don't want to take any chances with that 3-0-2 Yasuo.
And that was just clockwork from EDG. 3 pink wards, 4 pink wards in the river for just the dragon. They have got that down. There is no way LGD to get near that pit without taking a whole lot of damage. That's a lot of pinks.
Yeah, that's a lot of vision. Looks to be TBQ getting a healthy amount of gold when he finally manages to clear it out. But you can actually see some of the gold differences right now. The biggest one is going to be Pawn. 1,200 gold ahead from GODV by the time that fight is all said and done. But other than that, Clearlove, he's got a pretty healthy gold lead himself.
Yeah, Clearlove has done really well. Of course, that gold lead has shrunk due to all of the kills that TBQ has managed to find himself. And TBQ, he has been doing really well. He's stepped up in these playoffs, and he's maintaining that strength. Moving forward into a team like EDG that are most likely going to pick on him, he has done really well so far in this game to be as close as he possibly can be to Clearlove, who is going tank now, by the way. Looking for a Banshee's Veil from the looks of it.
Yeah, he already has completed his Cinder Hulk, but Clearlove on the other side. Now finishing off his own Spectre's Cowl to start getting nice and tanky. Blue buff looks to be handed over to Koro. Oh, yeah, Koro is going to be able to secure that. And poor Clearlove, he's not going to be able to get any of his buffs because red buff keeps going over to Pawn.
Yeah, that's the one shame, is usually you give over your blue buff.
Yeah.
But now there's both that you have to give. And anyway, Deft's going to start getting that at this stage, irrespective. So the nice adaptation, of course, having that Yasuo mid, a non-resource-based champion, has that passive for the shield, has the flow, but isn't going to require a blue or red buff for that. So they can give that one over to Koro and this Lulu. Give some cooldown reduction to someone who's now building ability power first before going cooldown reduction stack.
Yeah, Koro currently with the Morellos and a needlessly large rod. He's actually down in CS to Acorn now, who's had a lot of time to shore up that early game weakness. And he's even got his own freeze in the top lane. Acorn, he's sitting pretty comfortable with his Rod of Ages completed. We just saw EDG playing to the top side of the map, but they're not quite able to find anything as the game has settled down.
LGD are trying to avoid any type of conflict. They can't split push properly without it just being Acorn that does it, because Pawn will go to that side lane and kill them. He has a Trinity Force completed now, so that guy's a monster.
Yep.
And there is no one that can deal with him. Even if they have Kite, he's got alacrity boots, to say the least. He will catch you if he gets onto you. So they're smartly not split pushing. Imp has really, really desperately wanted to do so, and is now starting to fall a little bit behind in terms of farm. And the problem here for LGD is that they're sacrificing farm onto a single carry to try and make sure that someone gets farm. Because if they're both in the same lane, then they're making a mistake. So there's been a lot of jungle.
TBQ gets caught out, forced to flash, and makes it out of the Flame Chompers in time.
Does get out with his life. So everything is okay. Lee Sin doesn't necessarily need that when you have a side stone. Things will be all good for LGD. But yes, they have now put GODV into that bottom lane. Has the Zonias completed. And his potential of 1v1ing somebody has increased now to the point where he may feel comfortable against Pawn. I'd say most likely more comfortable against Koro.
Yeah. They're both going to see each other now, and Koro immediately has to take a step back. Doesn't want to take any chances against that GODV. As the wave gets shoved up and Koro is set to catch it all against his turret. It seems to be EDG who are the ones making the faster moves in this set, and that was something that we were a little bit afraid of coming into this, that EDG would be in the driver's seat for the whole season.
It doesn't feel like LGD is playing to their typical style. They're trying their best. They're controlling the outer side waves, They've got vision, it's just not deep. And they're playing reactively, not actively. That's the big problem here from this side, is that they finally do get a turret solo, but now EDG, in very typical EDG fashion, working around the Baron buff area, looking to take some wards out.
Just making sure to secure vision away from LGD. They are clearing ward after ward, but PYL and TBQ are emptying their sight stones as fast as they can. Dragon is going to be up in another 90 seconds. We're going to start to see some very scary breakpoints as Imp has finished off his Blade of the Ruined King. Looks like Deft. Oh, what's he going to finish? Static Shiv, does he have enough? Yeah, Static Shiv.
Certainly does.
Oh, and Triforce for Pawn. Wow, this is going to be awesome.
Pawn's had that for like 5 minutes. He's got a pickaxe now on top of that. That's that's how far ahead he is. Yeah, look, EDG, they've got their items now. If they're looking to potentially brute force their way through something, which is an interesting point that we were considering when you look at these two teams. Are you going to match the macro, which is all LGD plays? They're very linear with their styles. They want to work around the map, rotate, and catch you out in positions where you don't want to be. Or will EDG just say, no, we're going to team fight and just run at them? Seemingly,
yeah, seems
with
like
these
a team
items,
fight.
You'd say team fight, yeah, that's for sure.
That seems to be the general consensus for EDG, but Dragon is now up in 30 seconds. GODV with the recall completes his Sork boots and adds another Amp Tome to his repertoire. But he's got 20 seconds to make it across to the pit, and TBQ's not even on that side of the map as he might look for some action in the mid lane.
It's approximately 30 seconds to get to the Dragon from base, so GODV will be there in time. There are some wards in place this time for LGD to the point where they don't have to face check. They do get a turret for their troubles whilst they're going.
Yeah.
Being as efficient as possible.
And you can see how close this game is. 400 gold separates these two teams. Meiko is going to lead the charge. He's got his flash. Who's he looking for?
Most likely just going to poke a bit here from EDG. They do have the Kog'Maw who can outrange most people. Or TBQ can just start that Dragon up. They don't have vision. They do now.
GODV is trying to clear out his blue buff in time. Will manage to secure it, but EDG are skirmishing around Dragon.
I don't know if they want to fight it.
Dragon is secured. EDG are still grouped as 5, but they might be looking for the fast track. Minions make it to the tier 2. They could look to trade a turret.
They do have the inside lane. They've got the ward placements all for this movement. And now they're hitting the turret. It's gone.
Yeah. Quite a trade from EDG. Dragon number 1 goes to LGD, but again, Edward Gaming are a step ahead.
And this is exactly what we're talking about. Oh, Clearlove. He's got the flank.
He's looking to get in from PYL and TBQ from behind. Will they be able to catch
caught.
up? TBQ is indeed. He makes it over the wall. Who needs flash when you've got a sight stone? He gets around the side once again, but EDG.
I like that. I like that you referenced what I said earlier. That is perfect. LGD, they do get out, of course. The tanky Lee Sin is never going to go down to the tanky Evelyn. So everyone gets out. It all resets a little bit.
Uh-oh.
But again, positioning advantage.
Yeah,
that hurt.
Takes quite a bit of poke. Meiko dashes forward. Could be looking for Acorn. Sun finds Clearlove. GODV goes in. PYL's in the back line. They destroy Clearlove. GODV's doing so much damage. Nobody can deal with him. The silence finally locks him down in time, but he's not done yet. Continuing to chase forward. He's on to Meiko. The exhaust has been dropped by Pawn. The silence goes again. Imp is nowhere to be seen. And they're going to chase EDG away. Wait, Imp, no way! He's trying to 1v1 Deft on the side, but Deft gets out.
So Deft got caught on the flank there for the rest of his team. He could not sit there and put down damage. He spent most of the time just poking his head around, trying to draw pressure. LGD, they're pulling an EDG right now. They just want to do Baron. They found a pick, they're going.
Yeah, they're rushing onto the Baron. Pawn drops an excellent wind wall. The stun finds Imp on the side. GODV tries to get in, but there's so much CC.
Oh my
Pawn
God.
is cleaning up. Double kill for Pawn. Imp goes down, and Deft gets another kill. Now EDG are on the Baron.
I don't know if they want to do the Baron in this case. They seem like they want to. Clearlove's back, and GODV's still watching.
He's waiting. He's waiting. The stun is standing for Meiko. Can he get the outplay? Oh! The knockup denies. An ace for EDG.
The Lulu ultimate denying GODV's dash. He goes down, and now they can start the Baron. No one available to contest from this LGD side as Pawn, once again on this Yasuo, just steps up and goes massive.
Yeah, so much damage. 5-0-5. Here's a breakdown.
He windwalls and gets 2 stacks on his Q here. That's the important part. And then Annie hits that flash tibbers, guarantees his ultimate. And the fact that he can live this long, Deft gets excited. Everyone starts to fall down, even dashing to the Scuttle Crab to avoid the Kog'Maw. Just insult to injury here is, again, an individual performance from EDG, but they put it together seamlessly. And they get a Baron.
Yeah, absolutely explosive. This time, instead of being a 5-for-4 trade in favor of EDG, it's going to be a 5-for-1 trade as EDG have cleaned up all of the mistakes from their first fight and now have secured the Baron on top of it.
Yeah, they hit some bigger power spikes in terms of items. Of course, the Trinity Force done when it was just the static shift during that last trade. So everyone taking a lot more damage. Meiko still that reliable engage tool. One of the only real reliable engage tools from EDG. But if you're going to hit a Kog'Maw every single time, you cannot complain whatsoever.
Yeah.
He has been doing work for his team, and now Pawn has made his way bottom. The team has rotated. See you, turret.
Yeah, LGD can't quite respond in time. The second tier 2 of the game is going to fall, and EDG continue to pressure forward. Baroned up minions make it onto the turret. Pawn chunks it out with Deft. LGD have to respect EDG's damage.
Yeah, so it's, again, this comes back to drafting a little bit here now, why they're able to siege so well. They've got Lulu and they've got the Jinx, so they don't have the Kog'Maw, but they denied the Lulu and gave themselves the hyper carry to now poke around getting turrets down. Difficult for LGD to stop it from happening because TPQ ward jumps to avoid a zap. But he avoided it.
He did. He didn't want to burn his flash.
No, don't need flash, remember?
Yeah, he's finally got it back. But waves are being cleared set after set. Slow push building for LGD in the top lane. Actually, that should be fairly even. And EDG can't quite break the inhibitor just yet.
They do have to back off. They didn't get a whole lot from that Baron buff. They did get a turret. Things could have been worse for them. They didn't just get the ideal amount. So all things considered, with a little bit of Baron remaining, we'll see what they can make happen. But what they have done is controlled the side waves on bottom to the point where someone will have to answer soon. Dragon up in a minute. Things are looking good here for EDG. They've got the vision already set in place.
They still have Baron buff for about a minute. But yeah, that's a scary Yasuo on Pawn. Already grouped as 5 in the mid lane this time. EDG will have the fast track to that dragon when it respawns as they try to clear out some of the vision. Look at the attack speed. Oh my gosh.
100% crit as well. Exciting stuff here, Pawn. He's a massive Yasuo right now.
How do you shut that guy down?
You basically don't. At this stage, he's killable. He's definitely still killable. He's only got offensive items. It'll come down to, honestly, GODV will have to be the one that kills him, or Acorn, because if Imp's near him, Imp's pretty dead.
Yeah,
so
he's just going to be using his passive.
Yeah, he'll honestly just be a passive for it. Hey, it's efficient if you can get a lot of damage off. It's true damage. It's nice. Not ideal. It's nice.
Zap. This time, TBQ doesn't make the ward jump in time. Oh, the sweeper just
It was the wolf spirit that spotted him as well, so he swept that area. The ward wasn't even revealing him.
Dragon has spawned now. This is number 3 for Edward Gaming. They secure it without contest from LGD as their Baron buff wears off. And the game is getting closer and closer to more explosive team fights.
Starting to mount up to a moment. You look at LGD and you say, what are they waiting for really? Well, they're always going to outscale. Yep. So what are they waiting for? More items, basically. Imp has got his 3 core items set in place, so his damage, very high right now. Of course, it doesn't have a whole lot of crit. He's got the attack speed and the on-hit damage, though, as he is that Kog'Maw with the W and the Blade of the Ruined King. So if prolonged fights occur where Jinx isn't able to get auto attacks off, then things could go well here relative to the AD carries. GODV always going to do damage. He's got his penetration item. And again, what are they actually waiting for? You'd say the Frozen Heart, if that is what that is for the Alistar, and the Banshees for the Ryze. And then they've got their tanky front line, then they can fight. Damage is there.
Even when we've seen those straight up explosive team fights, they've been scattered all over the place. I believe the only big conclusive fight for LGD was when they were chasing down mid lane after catching Clearlove.
Yeah, it has been very hit and miss, and EDG are kiting and playing around it. But this comes back to engage tools as well. So LGD, they've gotten engaged, so they've got the Alistar. Diana's been engaging for them. Geez, they've got a lot when it comes to how they're playing the game out. But EDG, they've got just Annie, so they don't want to waste that engage. They kite back, work around the Lulu that they've got. Jinx is very good at kiting back, also has those chompers to place down. The wind ball, very good zone tool. And so they let LGD come to them. And that's why this is such a slow start to the game, is because their direct engage is not ideal. Yeah. It's there, but it needs to hit.
That's why we see LGD taking their time as they dance around the map, trying to keep LGD on their toes as they shove mid, then bottom, then mid again, and LGD are keeping pace with a nice defensive line. As you mentioned, they are getting closer and closer to that explosive late game build. Baron is going to be up in about a minute now. EDG, I think some timely recalls in to replenish some sight stones before that thing's going to be back up.
And this is just LGD to a T, though, is that EDG, though they don't have the direct engage, don't have all those tools they need to push the base down and break it, they are capable of controlling side waves. I mean, look at them both now with Baron in 45 seconds. They're aware that Baron is up in 45 seconds to the point where they have prepped those waves. Didn't even get close.
Yeah.
And now they can actually use the fact that the side waves are pushing and control the wall.
Flash stun finds Imp. He's taking a lot of damage. Flash gets him away, but Clearlove is chasing. Looks like Pawn is going for more action as he finds Acorn. Imp manages to kill Clearlove. He's getting into the side of the fight. Acorn is still alive. 5v4. Pawn goes for the dive. He finds GODV, but he just doesn't quite have enough. He's looking for Imp, but he gets destroyed. EDG pull the trigger a bit too soon. Zanyas keeps GODV alive. He's going to end up going down. No, he flashes, and he's still alive. They've lost Acorn, and Deft now dives. They could try to turn it around. The knockup. Deft is dead. Koro is going to die, and LGD are going to drop Meiko for an ace.
That was a really big mistake from EDG. They're about to give up the Baron, and this game has just been turned on top of itself. And we're back to even if they secure this one. Such a big mistake to dive, though. The Yasuo going all in, using the flash to engage on them, and his dash gets cancelled by Diana's E.
Yeah.
And that is what kills him. The rest of the side follows very swiftly.
Baron is going to fall in favor of LGD as the third team fight of the game. This one finally goes over to LGD, and they even it up in kills, even it up in gold, but now they've got the Baron buffs, and they've got sideways prep.
Yeah, so this engage onto him, perfectly fine, of course, but TBQ PYL, they play disengages, and they start walking around, kicking people back and headbutting them back. Pawn dives here, uses the flash off of the minion, and knocks up both. That looks perfectly fine, but that E from GODV just cancels Pawn's dash. Imp stays alive because of this, and now Deft, still full health. GODV flashes and shields at the same time to get out, and now he just goes too deep. He's taking this turret, takes a lot of damage. All that overshield is completely negated. He gets destroyed, and LGD, they just run over the rest of this fight. Sole reason they lost that, honestly, EDG, is the turret. It destroyed them.
Perhaps sieging not quite in EDG's favor just yet, as Imp brings a big wave towards the bottom, but Clearlove waiting in the brush, and 5 members of EDG catch it and clear it right out.
So satisfying when you crit and 7 minions die. Deft, loving life after that, you would imagine. But they're working around bottom. They're now looking to go middle. EDG on the ball in terms of where to go. But LGD are bush camping, trying to find picks.
Great wind wall denies any damage that LGD can do. Here comes the next minion wave. It gets in front, and EDG let the tier 2 go.
And this Kog'Maw is well and truly ramping up right now. Even has a QSS, but so's Deft.
He's doing a lot of damage, but he's trading it back across. Both of them want that title of best AD carry. Another wind wall buys more time for the next wave, but slowly but surely, the turret is being chunked down.
That was a legitimate 1 versus 1 fight when there were 4 members watching. Imp comes out ahead. He's got the Baron buff. 2 cannon minions now hitting the turret. I don't know if they'll pull the trigger on this wave, especially not when POL wants to take half of his health.
Yeah.
But soon, they may consider.
Oh, Deft case is forward. Clearlove on the side. Woo. I love these AD carries.
Well, the best part is because it's like a Juggernaut style of Jinx. You've got the Lulu to bolster that strength. And then Imp's just Imp. So he doesn't need someone to be a support tool for him. He's going to be in the front line.
LGD have backtracked to the Dragon. They're going to shred through its health nice and quick, but they don't bring it down before EDG get there. They manage to secure it. Now Clearlove is in the pit. He's got nowhere to go. He doesn't have a flash. Knockup is going to be enough to keep him locked down. A stun finds Imp on the side. GODV Pawn dives into the front line. The knockup finds Acorn and GODV. He's still alive, but gets destroyed as Imp is untouched. He's dealing so much damage. GODV chases down Kuro. TBQ manages to chase down another one. There's a teleport from GODV to help him keep pace. Deft is full health, but he's got to run away to try to keep himself alive.
And TBQ should just zone here, try and stop him from recalling. He will die if he follows this, but he'll Q again. Oh, God.
He's trying to go for the 1v1 kick, and another Sonic Wave. The rocket gets dodged. He's still got the resonating strike. He's buying time for his team. Is he going to follow it up? Deft, he turns it around. There's the zap. He doesn't have the damage. Deft shuts him down, but LGD are in the base. They're trying to end the game. Nexus turret number 1 goes low. Nexus turret number 2 is going down. They're on the Nexus. Deft isn't there in time. TBQ just won LGD game number 1.
Just like that, the game turns around. One dive from EDG, and it all just shatters.
One mistake, and LGD come back with the win. GODV grinning from ear to ear. Pawn does not look happy.
There's no reason to be happy. He did so much work. He won them the early and mid game almost single-handedly, but then he managed to lose them the late game. LGD. They just played that phenomenally. They disengaged. Both these teams running that disengaged style. One just executed better in the late game. They outscaled.
Yeah, so much damage from LGD. Able to wait that long. And, you know, Deft, you see him on your screen right now. He played admirably, so exceptionally well. And the fact that it is coming down to one mistake, one single error, just speaks volumes about the level of play that we're seeing.
Definitely. It feels like they're matched on that macro level, and it all comes down to the individual decision-making in team fights. That's what we saw just there. The overzealous dive gives LGD the massive snowball, and that was all they needed. They got their eye in, and they take a victory.
Yeah, amazing play. And, you know, you've got to start thinking, EDG, they dropped game number 1 to LGD. I would ask, what do they need to do to turn it around? But they were in control for most of the game. It was that one turret dive that ruined it. I imagine they could play the exact same team comp, the exact same game, just not dive, and they would have taken the win.
It's execution. The biggest thing there was execution, and EDG did not pull the trigger in the appropriate manner at the end of the game. So all things considered, LGD still played exceptionally.